National Policy on Education 1986. Introduction. The National Policy on Education is an extensive document that covers all aspects of education from elementary to university level and even adult education in both rural and urban India. The NEP is a comprehensive framework to establish by India government to guide the development and implementation of education in the country. It aims to address various aspects of education from elementary to higher education, including adult education and education in rural and urban areas. First, in NPE 1968. First NPE 1968, introduced under Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's government. This policy focused on improving the quality of education and making it more accessible. It emphasized the need for a national system of education, promoting vocational training and enhancing educational opportunities in rural areas. Second NPE 1986. Formulated during the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. This policy built upon the first one and aimed at improving educational standard and expanding access. It introduced reforms to enhance the quality of education, encourage innovation in teaching, and ensure that educational institutions are better equipped and funded. The policy also highlighted the importance of integrating technology into education and addressing regional disparities. January 1985, Rajiv Gandhi addressed the nation. Education must promote national cohesion and work ethics. The grandeur of our freedom struggle and its significance for national integration has to be brought home to every student. The curricular and the textbook should curb parochial communal interpretation of our composite culture. 1985 ജനുവരിയിൽ രാജീവ് ഗാന്ധി നാടിനോട് നടത്തിയ അഭിവാദ്യത്തിൽ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം, ദേശീയ ഐക്യം, വർക്ക് എത്തിക്സ് എന്നിവ പ്രോത്സാഹിപ്പിക്കണം. നമ്മുടെ സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യ സമരത്തിന്റെ മഹിമയും അതിന്റെ ദേശീയ ഏകീകരണത്തിനുള്ള പ്രാധാന്യവും എല്ലാ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളിലേക്കും എത്തിക്കണം. പാഠപുസ്തകങ്ങളും കോഴ്സുകളും പ്രാദേശികമായും മതപരമായും കുറ്റവിമർശനങ്ങൾ പ്രചരിപ്പിക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കണം. നമ്മുടെ സമന്വിത സാംസ്കാരിക പാരമ്പര്യം ശരിയായ രീതിയിൽ പ്രകടിപ്പിക്കേണ്ടതാണ്. The NPE contains 12 parts and 157 paragraphs on different aspects of education. National policy on education is divided into 12 essential parts. Introductory definition. The essence and role of education. All-round development. Education is seen as crucial for the holistic development of individual, not just academically but also socially, culturally and morally. Acculturating role. Education helps in assimilating individual into the cultural and social norms of society, fostering national identity and cohesion. Manpower development for different levels of economy. It emphasizes a need to develop a skilled workforce that can support various sectors of the economy from basic to advanced levels. Education as a unique investment. Education is viewed as a valuable investment for personal and national growth, contributing to economic development and social progress. National system of education. Concept of national system of education. This part outlines the vision for a unified education framework that provides consistency and equity across the country. Common educational structure 10+2+3. This refers to the standardized structure of education: 10 years of general education followed by 2 years of higher secondary education and 3 years of undergraduate study adopted nationwide. Equal opportunity. Ensure that all individuals have access to education irrespective of their socio-economic status, gender or background, based on a national curriculum framework. Education should be guided by a national framework that ensure uniformity and quality in educational content and standards. Promotion of link and other languages. Encourages the teaching and learning of multiple languages to promote national integration and cultural diversity. Emphasize on research and development. Stresses the importance of fostering research and development in education institutions to drive innovation and progress. Lifelong education. Advocates for continuous learning opportunities throughout an individual's life to adapt to changing circumstances and advance personal and professional growth. Institution of national importance. Recognizes and supports certain education institutions that have a significant impact on national development and requires special status and funding. Education for equality. To ensure that education promotes social equity and addresses various forms of discrimination. Approach includes policies to create a more inclusive educational environment and to combat inequalities based on caste, gender, religion, and socio-economic status. Education for women equality. To promote gender equality through education, ensuring that women have equal access to educational opportunities and resources. Initiatives include measures to improve literacy rates among women, encourage female enrollment in all levels of education, and provide support for women's education in both rural and urban areas. Adult education. To provide equal opportunities for adults who missed out on formal education during their youth. Programs include literacy program, vocational training, and lifelong learning initiatives aimed at improving the skill and knowledge of adults, enhancing the employment prospects and quality of life. The education for scheduled caste. To address the education disparities faced by scheduled caste and ensure they have access to quality education. Program includes scholarships, resource seats in education institutions, and special schemes to support SC students aiming to uplift their education status and integrate them into mainstream society. Education for equality. Next, handicapped disabled education. Objective: to provide appropriate educational facilities and support for students with disabilities. Programs focuses on inclusive education, special school, and resources to help disabled students integrate into the general education system and achieve their full potential. The education for scheduled tribes. To improve educational access and quality for scheduled tribes who often face geographical and socio-economic challenges. Programs include special provision such as scholarship, community school, and curriculum adaptation to make education more accessible and relevant for ST students. Minorities. Objective is to ensure that educational needs of minority communities are addressed and they have equal opportunities. Programs include support for minority institutions, scholarships, and special education schemes aimed at improving literacy and educational outcomes for minority groups. Other educationally backward section. To focus on groups that are educationally disadvantaged due to various factors such as socio-economic status, geographic location, and other barriers. Programs include targeted interventions to support these groups and improve their access to quality education such as remedial programs and community outreach efforts. The NPE 1986 aimed to create a more equitable education system by addressing the needs of various disadvantaged and marginalized groups, ensuring that every individual have the opportunity to benefit from education and contribute to national development. Reorganization of education at different stages. Elementary education. Objective to provide universal access to quality elementary education for all children, ensuring strong foundation in basic literacy and numeracy. Focus emphasizes improving enrollment rates, retention, and quality of education at the primary and upper primary levels. Child-centered approach. Objective is to adopt teaching methods and practices that focuses on the needs, interests, and abilities of the child. Features includes personalized learning, active engagement, and the use of diverse teaching aids to make learning more relevant and enjoyable for students. School facilities. Objective to enhance the infrastructure and resources available in schools to support effective teaching and learning. Focus on improving physical facilities such as classrooms, libraries, and laboratories, as well as providing adequate education materials and resources. Secondary education. Objective to build on the foundation laid in elementary education and prepare students for higher education or vocational training. Focus on includes expanding access to secondary education, improving the quality of education, and updating curricula to meet the changing needs of society. Vocationalization. Objective to integrate vocational training into the education system, providing students with practical skills and knowledge relevant to the job market. Approach includes introducing vocational courses at the secondary and higher secondary level, promoting skill development, and creating linkage with industry. Higher education. Objective to enhance the quality and accessibility of higher education, supporting academic and professional development. Focus includes improving university standards, expanding access to higher education, and promoting research and innovation. Open university and distance education. Objective to provide flexible learning opportunities for individuals who may not have access to traditional education institutions. Features includes the use of open universities and distance learning programs to offer higher education and professional development to a wider audience, including working professionals and those in remote areas. The NPE 1986 seeks to create a more effective and inclusive education system by reorganizing education across different stages, ensuring that it meets the diverse needs of students and supports national development goals. Technical and management education. Innovation, research and development. Technical and management education objective to develop skilled professionals in technical and management field who can contribute to economic growth and development. Focus, expansion and improvement. Emphasis the need to expand the technical and management educational opportunities and improve the quality of existing institutions. Integration with industry. Encourages closer ties between education institutions and industry to ensure that curricula are relevant to current technological and managerial practices. Infrastructural development calls for enhancing the infrastructure and resources of technical and management institutions to support effective learning and research. Innovation, research and development. Research promotion encourages increased funding and support for research activities in universities and technical institutions. Making the system work. Objective to ensure the effective implementation and functioning of the education system. Policy implementation outlines strategies for the effective implementation of policies provision, including administrative and managerial reforms. Monitoring and evaluation calls for regular monitoring and evaluation of education programs and institutions to assess their performance and make necessary adjustment. Reorientation, the content and process of education. To update and enhance the curriculum and teaching methods to make education more relevant and effective. It includes revising educational content, adopting learner-centered teaching methods, and integrating contemporary knowledge and skills into the curriculum. The cultural perspective. Objective to incorporate cultural education into the curriculum to promote national identity and preserve cultural heritage. Focus includes integrating cultural studies and practices into education to foster an appreciation and individuals' diverse traditional and values. Value education. Objective is to instill ethical values and moral principles in students. Emphasizes the inclusion of value based education to help students develop a strong moral compass and social responsibility. Language. To promote multilingualism and support language diversity, focus on encourages the teaching of multiple languages including regional and national languages to enhance communication skills and cultural understanding. Books and libraries. To improve access to quality reading materials and library resources, focus on includes developing and expanding school libraries, ensuring availability of diverse books and promoting reading as a key component of education. Media and educational technology. To integrate modern media and technology into the educational process, focus emphasizes the use of education media and technology tool to enhance teaching and learning experiences including multimedia resources and digital platform. Work experience. To provide practical hands-on experience as part of the education process, encourages the inclusion of work experience and occasional training to help students gain real world skills and understand their future career path. Education and environment. To raise awareness about environmental issues and promote sustainable practices, includes integrating environmental education into the curriculum to foster an understanding of ecological issues and encourage environmental stewardships. Population education. To educate students about population issues including family planning and demographic changes, aims to provide knowledge on population dynamics and their impact on resource and society. Mathematics teaching. Objective to improve the teaching and learning of mathematics. Focus includes developing effective teaching methods, updating curricula, and enhancing students' problem solving and analytical skills in mathematics. Science education. To promote scientific literacy and inquiry, emphasizes updating science curricula, enhancing practical laboratory experiences, and fostering scientific approach to problem solving. Sports and physical education. To promote physical fitness and sportsmanship, include integrating physical education into the curriculum, encouraging sports participation, and developing physical fitness programs. Yoga. To incorporate yoga into the education for promoting physical and mental well-being, encourages the inclusion of yoga practices in the school curriculum to support students' health and holistic development. The role of youth. To engage youth actively in education and educational and social development, emphasize the role of young people in contributing to societal progress and the importance of their participation in educational reforms. The evaluation process and examination reforms. To improve assessment methods and examination system, includes reforming evaluation practices to focus on holistic assessment, reducing rote learning, and promoting a more comprehensive understanding of students' abilities. Teacher education. To recognize and enhance the critical role of teachers in the educational process, emphasize the importance of teachers in shaping students' learning and need for continuous professional development, motivation, and support to improve teaching quality. The management education. To oversee and coordinate educational policies and programs at the national level, includes role of the central government in setting education standards, formulating policies, and providing overall guidance and support for the education system. To manage, implement education policies and programs at the state level, district level, to ensure the effective implementation of education policies and programs at the grassroots level, involves the role of district and local authorities in managing schools, addressing local educational issues, and coordinating with state and national bodies to support education and the community level. Resource and review to ensure the availability of adequate resources for education and regularly review the effectiveness of educational programs includes managing financial resources, infrastructure, and human resources effectively. It also involves periodic review and evaluation of educational policies, programs, and practices to ensure they are effective and meeting the changing needs of the education system. The future. To plan and prepare for the future direction of education in India involves anticipating future educational needs, challenges, and opportunities. It includes developing strategies for long term educational planning, incorporating new technologies and methodologies, and ensuring that the education system evolves to meet future demands and global trends. Merits of national policy on education. Educational works. The policy aimed at extensive educational reforms to enhance the quality of education, focusing on updating curricula, improving teaching methods, and expanding access to education. National System of Education. It introduced a unified framework for education, promoting a common education structure 10 plus 2 plus 3 across the country to ensure consistency and equity in education. Uniform pattern of education. The policy establishes a standardized educational pattern that facilitates mobility and equivalence in education across different states, ensuring that students receive a similar level of education regardless of their location. Nation Core Curriculum. It introduces a national curriculum framework to provide a common basis for curriculum development, ensuring that all students receive a broad and relevant education aligned with national goals. Delinking degree from job. The policy proposed separating academic degrees from direct job placements, encouraging students to gain practical experience and skills relevant to the job market rather than relying solely on degree qualifications. Establishment of Navodaya schools. The policy led to the creation of Navodaya Vidyalaya, which aimed to provide quality education to talented students from rural and underserved areas, promoting educational equity and excellence. Role of central government. It emphasizes the central government's role in setting educational standards, formulating policies, and providing financial support, ensuring a coordinated approach to educational development across states. Financial suggestions. The policy included recommendations for increased financial investment in education, including better allocation of resources and funding for educational infrastructure, teacher training, and research. Equal educational opportunities. Encouraging talents and efficiency. The policy aimed to nurture and develop individual talents and effectiveness through a focus on diversified and quality education, encouraging students to excel in various fields. Indian Education Service. It proposed the establishment of an Indian Education Service to provide a structured and professional approach to managing and implementing educational policies at various levels. Vocationalization. The policy emphasized the integration of vocational training into the education system, aiming to equip students with practical skills and knowledge that align with industry needs, enhancing employability and career readiness. Demerits of national policy on education. Neighborhood school has been completely neglected. The policy failed to adequately address the concept of neighborhood school, which is crucial for ensuring that all children have access to school close to their home. This omission led to continued disparity in school accessibility, particularly in rural and undeserved areas. Silence on public school and commercialization. The policy did not address the issues related to the commercialization of public school, which can lead to inequalities in education quality and access. It lacked provision to regulate the growing trend of privatization, and commercialization in the education sector, which can disadvantage students from lower socio-economic backgrounds. Now check on minority school and their exploitation. The policy did not include measures to monitor or regulate minority institutions, leading to potential exploitation or misuse of the benefits and concessions provided to these institutions. This lack of oversight could result in discrepancies in the quality of education offered by minority school. Too much expectation from community help. The policy placed significant expectations on community involvement and support for educational development. While community participation is important, over reliance on it without adequate government support and infrastructure could lead to inconsistent implementation and effectiveness of educational initiative. Neglect basic education at the school stage. The focus of the policy on higher education and vocational training led to the neglect of fundamental issues in basic education at the school stage. This oversight impacted the quality of primary and secondary education, which are critical for laying a strong educational foundation. Multiplicity of authorities in education has been recommended. The policy recommended multiple layers of authority in education, which could lead to administrative complexity and inefficiencies. The presence of various bodies and levels of authority might result in overlapping responsibilities, lack of coordination, and difficulties in implementing uniform educational standards and reforms. No mention of increasing working hours for optimal utilization of human resources. The policy did not address the need for extending school working hours or optimizing the use of human resources within educational institutions. This oversight may have led to inefficiencies in the use of available teaching staff and resources, potentially affecting the quality of education. No suggestion on reservation policy for admission. The policy did not provide specific recommendations for a reservation policy based on economic conditions. Instead, it focused on general measures for educational equity. A more detailed approach, including reservation criteria based on socioeconomic status, could have better addressed issues on access and fairness in admission. Lack of fixed target for reform. The policy did not set specific measurable targets for various educational reforms. Without clear targets, it becomes challenging to assess programs, measure success, and hold stakeholders accountable for achieving the desirable outcome in education. Lack of linkage among primary, secondary, and higher secondary schools. The policy did not establish a strong framework for linking primary, secondary, and higher secondary education. This lack of coordination can lead to fragmented educational experiences for students, where transitions between different stages of education are not smooth, and there is no integrated approach to curriculum development and student support. What comprises the Magna Carta of education? The National Policy on Education 1986, popularly known as the New Education Policy, is a Magna Carta of the education for the days to come. Name the resources that were invited for debate for NPE approval. Thousands of students, teachers, parents, organizations, voluntary agencies, education institutions, universities, state governments, central ministries, panchayat samitis, and Jilla Parishad participated. Who first gave the call for new education policy? The call for the new education policy was first given by the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, in his broadcast to the nation on January 5, 1985. How many pages consume the final draft of NPE? Over 29 pages consume the final draft of NPE. Enlist the points for the need of policy: qualitative development of education, enhancement of percentage of literacy, checking of brain drain, implementation of free and compulsory education, removal of wastage and stagnation in education, modernization of curriculum, and improvement of examination system. What is education as per Rajiv Gandhi? Education must promote national cohesion and work ethics. Name the 12 parts of new educational policy. Introduction, the essence and role of education, National system of education, education for equality, reorganization of education at different stages, technical and management education, making the system work, reorienting the content and process of education, the teacher, the management of education, resources and review, the future. What is meant by essence and role of education? Education is essentially for all. It is fundamental to our all-round development, material and spiritual. Education is a unique investment in the present and the future. It develops manpower of different levels of economy. Education has an acculturing role. It refines sensitiveness and perceptions that contribute to national cohesion, a scientific temper, and independence of mind and spirit, thus furthering the goal of socialism, secularism, and democracy entering in our constitution. Define national system of education. The concept of national system of education implies that upon a given level, irrespective of caste, creed, location, or sex, have access to education of a comparable equality. Give some features of NPE. It is a large-scale systematic program. Education will be launched to educate school dropout children from habitations without school, working children, and girls who cannot attend whole-day schools. Define minorities. Minorities are educationally deprived or backward. Define operational blackboard. Provision will be made for essential facilities in primary school, including at least two reasonably large rooms that can be used in all weathers, and the necessary toys, blackboards, map, charts, and other learning material. At least two teachers, one of whom a woman, should work in every school, the number increasing as early as possible to one teacher as per class. An Operation Blackboard, a drive will be undertaken throughout the country as a part of the primary school improvement program. Why was non-formal education stressed in NPE? Non-formal education was stressed in NPE in order to educate school dropout children from habitations without schools, working children, and girls who cannot attend whole-day schools. Write some merits of the policy. Holistic man, national unity, national testing service, equality of educational opportunities, vocational education, delinking jobs from degrees, management of education. Write some demerits of policy. Multiplicity of authorities, financial matters, constraints and deficiencies.